Next, we're going to turn to the Obama administration's call to action against Mexico's drug cartels, which have spread violence into the U.S., including into this city, which is only a half-day's drive from the border. Today, the administration said it will increase the number of agents and the amount of money spent to stop the cartels. But will it be enough? Brian Ross is joining us now. Brian?
Charlie, Mexico's violent drug cartels were never an issue during the presidential campaign, but today's announcement shows the urgency of the situation now. U.S. officials tell ABC News the cartels have become a criminal insurgency, using roadside bombs, guerrilla tactics, threatening to turn Mexico into another Iraq or Afghanistan.
Since the first of the year, there have been 1,000 drug cartel murders in Mexico. 100 of them local police officials. And a confidential federal law enforcement assessment obtained by ABC News, The Pathway to a Failed State, says the drug cartel insurgency may well be a precursor to civil anarchy in part or all of Mexico and a serious threat to the U.S.
One of the changes in the threat environment has been what is going on in Mexico.
Today's White House announcement by Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano outlined a $700 million U.S. surge with more than 100 agents and 5 helicopters being sent to the border.
I believe that our role is to assist in this battle because we have our own security interests in its success.
Much of the money committed to the enhanced border security and all of the helicopters had already been set in motion by the Bush administration. And a former top drug enforcement official says the Obama plan still fails to address a long-term solution.
Throwing more personnel and money at the border at the 1-yard line simply isn't going to solve the problem.
Mexican officials say almost all of the drug cartel's high-powered weapons are bought in the U.S. at gun stores and gun shows. The Obama plan will add 100 new ATF agents to stop the gun smuggling, but it's a temporary assignment, only 45 days.
Open the door!
The plan also sends money to local U.S. law enforcement, besieged by the violence and kidnappings spilling over the border. $89 million divided among hundreds of agencies along the 2,100-mile border.
That's nowhere near enough to stop the uptick in crime on the American side of the border because of this insurgency.
At the heart of the crisis are 2 fundamental unresolved problems: the pervasive corruption and intimidation of Mexican law enforcement officials and the continued demand from U.S. customers for drugs from Mexico, $65 billion a year. The money that fuels this deadly insurgency at the border, Charlie.
Our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross.
Today, the administration was talking about beefing up security at the border. Tomorrow, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton pays a visit to Mexico's president. Tonight, we get a look at the man identified as Mexico's public enemy #1. The story from NBC's Mark Potter.
Officially, he is 51-year-old Joaquin Guzman, but to most in Mexico, he is known simply as El Chapo, or Shorty.
It doesn't matter who you are, whose grandmother you are, or whose child you are. If you get in his way, he'll take you out.
Shorty Guzman heads Mexico's biggest and most violent illegal drug cartel, based in the rugged mountains of Sinaloa. He is also Mexico's most wanted fugitive.
I think you could say he's the contemporary Al Capone of Mexico, but really in the world he's probably the single most powerful and most effective drug trafficker.
He may also be the world's richest outlaw. This month's Forbes magazine put Guzman on its annual billionaires list, which angered Mexican President Felipe Calderón, who said it glorified criminality. Much the way Mexican music videos glorify Guzman's exploits. 8 years ago, Guzman escaped from this maximum security prison in a laundry truck after bribing the prison staff, never again to be touched by the authorities. Today, those authorities blame Guzman and his cartel for much of the drug-related violence in Mexico, particularly along the border, where he's tried to muscle in on smuggling routes run by other cartels. Guzman's cartel also has a big impact here on the U.S. side of the Mexican border. Drug agents say the Sinaloa traffickers smuggle in more than 100 tons a year of marijuana, along with cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. And they operate in cities throughout the United States. Guzman is infamous for using tunnels to smuggle drugs to the U.S., and the Justice Department is offering a $5 million reward for his capture.
No question how brutal he is, how violent he is. He's also smart.
And very hard to catch. Mark Potter, NBC News, El Paso.